R&B Money.
So let's go back to that. Let's go back to the beginning.
Sure.
To where, you have this musical family, but then there's you, and everyone's looking at you like, well,
where did that come from?
That? How's she doing that?
Yeah. I mean, I knew at 7 that music and singing was what I wanted to do.
I knew at 7.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew at 7. And that was also because I started realizing that when I would sing, people would be like, oh my gosh, like that's really good. But I realized that it wasn't in the way that it was towards little kids when you kind of, you encourage them all the time, just because. But they really were meaning what they were saying. Like, yes, your voice is really good. And I was like, oh. Okay.
Got some.
And I loved doing it. So I just started singing, and then American Idol came on. I watched Kelly Clarkson win, and I just was so excited. I watched her, and I just remember looking at my mom saying, I want to do that. Not necessarily Idol, because no one knew it was going to be around for as long as it's been around. But the emotion, she was singing, she was choked up, and she was singing, and everybody watching her was just looking at her with awe, and there were pyrotechnics going, and people were clapping, and I just loved the emotion and how charged it was being on stage, and the ability to sing a song and to change somebody like that. And I knew that that's what I wanted to do. And so I think I was 11 or 12, and I was like, I want to do that, Mom. She goes, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, we'll help you get there, but you have to do your side of it. It's going to be a lot of work, but it wasn't like work to me. I couldn't wait to get out of school so I could sing. You know what I mean? So, did all that. I grew up in church, singing in church. Yeah, I sang in church. I wasn't able to join the choir in the big church, but I could sing the solo and have the choir back me. So that was nice.
Hold on.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that threw me off.
It was, because there was a certain age. I couldn't be in it because I was too young. So I was singing in the big church at like 12, but I couldn't be in the choir. I was in high school worship though. I was doing like junior high and high school worship as well. So it was like I couldn't do all of them.
So how did they let you sing the solo, but you were too young to be in the choir?
It was Christmas and Easter, Jesus born on this day.
So they let you rock.
Yeah. So I rocked it. I brought the house down, and then bye guys.
So
see you later.
We got a special guest for you guys.
Exactly. Here from the high school room. Yeah. But it was fun. It was fun.
We're going to bless y'all.
You know the first thing I heard. I don't normally do this, but go ahead. No,
It's a little bit of the remix.
Just a little special guest, but it was fun.
And where are you at this time?
I was in Arizona.
Arizona.
Grew up in Glendale, Arizona, and so I went to that church, and then I did that for a while. Then I did local stuff. There was this place called Mr. Lucky's that was a country western bar.
Come on, country
and
western.
They had a family fish fry Fridays. Sorry, it's hard to say. But they had a competition there every Friday for the kids. So everybody would come, families and their kids, and I would compete in this competition, and I won. I came back the next week, and I won. And I came back the next week, and I won. And I came back the next week, and they were like, all right.
So let me ask you a question. Here's my question. So were you one of those people that would act surprised after you win the third time?
No, there were really good kids.
God,
there were good kids. You never knew. Because it was different. I guess I was the only person who kept coming, but there were different people.
The other kids
there were different people.
Jordan gonna be there.
So, what they did was they pulled me aside and they said, "Okay, look, it's not fair. So what we're gonna do instead is you can sing with the house band."
How old are you at this time?
14.
You said 14?
Yeah. And
so you're born and raised in Arizona. Mm-hmm. So was your dad? Did he play for the Cardinals? Is that why you were there?
He played for the Giants. So my parents met in Phoenix. They both went to Arizona State University. That's where my dad went to college.
Okay.
He was drafted out of there in 1992 to the Giants. And so during the season, we would move to New Jersey. And the off season, we'd come back to Phoenix. And when he retired, we came back to Phoenix. So Arizona was really my main constant. Mm-hmm. Whereas I love New Jersey and I love the tri-state area, but I was always changing schools. I was always the new kid. I was always trying to do something new. I couldn't really plant any roots there, but Arizona, I went back to the same school. I saw the same friends. Mm-hmm. My family was there. So that's how it worked. But I definitely think that helped prepare me for what I do now.
That's what I was going to ask you. Just to move around and new friends, new schools.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize in this business there's so many people that are coming and going at all times.
All times.
There's, even if you're at a label, still people coming and going. It's not like it's very rare that you find someone who's been at the same job for 30 years in the music business.
Yeah.
They may be, they may be still be in the music business, but they'll be at different companies. It might, it just moves around.
Yep.
And I think sometimes that's a little difficult for people to deal with.
Yeah.
Who haven't experienced that, especially before they get into the music business. So for you as a kid, you're moving around, you're changing schools, you got to make new friends.
Yeah.
It's kind of preparing you for what's coming in a sense.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that it helped me just because you walk into different rooms all the time and you never know who's going to be in there, and you never know what's going to come out of going into that certain room, whether it's a meeting or it's a gala or it's an event or it's a party. Every time you go in, there's somebody that you don't know.
Right.
And so you have to have kind of this ability to not necessarily kind of be a chameleon, but not changing who you are, but being able to like
adjust.
Okay, I can rock with this room. Oh, okay, I can rock with this one too. And I think it's a special gift and talent as in and of itself to be able to do that, because it can be really hard, like you said, if you're not used to constantly seeing new faces and new people and doing things like that. And also with my dad being who he was, he was in the spotlight and we were kind of on the outside. We were on the outside. So for me, I got to watch him interact with his fans. I saw how he did his interviews. I saw how people loved him. My dad has this special ability to just make you feel like you've been best friends like your whole life.
Tank.
Yeah, within 5 minutes. Yeah, you guys would get along really well, actually. You guys would really get along. But and so I watched him do that, and he made everybody feel so special. And that's what I want to do whenever I have an interaction with my fans. Sometimes I don't want to do it, but I do it anyway, because it takes much longer to say no and explain why you don't want to take the picture and instead of just being like, okay, and just smile.
That's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, I mean, like it takes 2 seconds most of the time. There are those moments where people want to start sharing their stories and stuff, which is fine. If I have the time, I love to listen and whatever it is. But I never want to be that person who they're like, don't meet your idols or your favorite people. So I'm always thinking about that. I do have my moments though. Like if I'm sitting down and eating, I will politely be like, well, after I'm done eating, I would love to take a picture with you, and their response is up to them at that point.
Right.
So
Ooh, yeah. R&B Money.